What is going on, everybody out there? Once again, I am Mr. Soul of a Man 504. Happy beginning of the year to everyone out there. So, today we are going to be talking about go and get it. Because, as we all know, it is a brand new year. We have goals and we have things to do. So, with that said, man, let's go ahead and get straight on into this thing. Let's see. Cool. So the important thing for you this year is just to make it happen. Whatever your it is, be that your initial goals, beginning of the year, people want to go and join the gym and work out and so don't make it a resolution, make it a revolution, make it something that's going to be tangible, something that you're um when you have something like when you have something that is destinedly instilled in you, the important thing is that it's going to be there and it's going to continue to gnaw at you until you get it done. That's the thing. It could be something um it could be something as small as cleaning up, washing the dishes, whatever, something like that, like little small things. Or it could be something like you looking at the people that you naturally have around you. You're like, man, you're thinking, who can I start to reach out to now to get myself to where I need to be? Let's see, what does my Rolodex look like? You look at your Rolodex, and your Rolodex, it has spider webs on it. It's dark. You got to get a flashlight to shine through it, the little feather duster, and all of that good stuff, man. But so we're talking about new contacts, and we're talking about bringing new energy towards you, and by doing that, you're opening up paths of resilience. You're opening up you're opening up new doors to go out there and just to naturally make things happen, for yourself. It's important for you to, it's important for all of us to breathe, to live. But what if you are, what if every breath you're taking is focused on what you truly want to do this year? And like I said, necessarily in the beginning, of course, supernaturally speaking, we got God and our angel guides, and if you believe in your ancestors, and all of that good stuff, whatever it is that you believe in. But you know, in a natural sense, it's, what if it's just you? What if it's just you? You have to crawl out of bed in the morning, and you have to get yourself up. Adulthood, right? Don't sometimes you wish you could go back and be a kid again? I mean, like, really and truly, you wish that you could be a kid again. I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to, when I, in my teens, it was like, man, I can't wait to grow up and get a driver's license. And, I had so many places to go, but yet hadn't really no way to get there. Now, I'm older, I have a license, the car, and all that good stuff. And it's like I don't feel like driving, So it's it's always a catch to it, man. In the city I live in, the traffic is horrible. I feel like these people can't drive to save their lives. It's a big city. It's overcrowded and very overpopulated, and I that part of it I've been over. But it's a city where people are in a hurry to go nowhere fast, like literally. But but with us, we actually have places to go, and we actually have people to see, this year, and everything that you need, for the now, you have it. I know sometimes we think like, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. This person has, 50,000 subscribers on Instagram. I mean, maybe that is true. You never know. That person could have paid for those subscribers, like literally. I get those little scammers. You can do that stuff now with social media. I think if you get caught, But anyway, so there's those people probably took shortcuts, and they probably slapped something. Anybody nowadays can be a this or a that without any kind of training or any type of natural talent or abilities to do it. They think like, oh well, that looks easy, I'm going to be that too. And not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but not everybody was meant to do everything in the world. It just seems like it sometimes it seems like everybody wants to do the same thing, that the next person is doing. I personally want to be unique. I just made a comment on somebody's post about an hour ago on Instagram. She's an actress, and there was another actress that she said she favors, and so she had the picture like of the actress, and she's remind you she's an actress herself. And I said, I looked at the picture and I was like, and I told her, I said, well, I would rather say that you are the first and only unique you, that there's nobody else in the world that looks like you and has your talent, blah, blah, blah. Of course, she said, thank you. And, she's one of these, I have to have the last say word kind of people. Yeah, this is what it is. She was like, well, sometimes somebody you may favor. Yeah. I mean, and that's cool, but I, I would rather say, I would rather have the favor than say somebody had the favor over me. Can I get an amen from the congregation? So let me say that again. I would rather have the favor than naturally somebody having the favor, over me, because if I had the favor, that means that I am intentional, I am powerful, I am the great that I am. I can move with focus, I can move with more confidence in everything, in everything that I am and everything that I am purposed to do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, yeah, it's we can look at other people and be inspired. That's cool, but sometimes you can be your own greatest inspiration. Sometimes the hardest thing for a lot of people is getting up out of the bed in the morning, seriously. And not to mention all the other things people probably have going on with that. But it's I don't know, I guess I'm kind of, in the world we live in, there's no Superman or the Spider-Man or Batman to come and save the day. So, um, yeah, if you believe in a higher power, God, and we have that, but tangibly, we don't naturally have any superheroes. We have people that may have some fame, some notoriety. Yes, they're great at what they do, but that's what they do. And the important thing is that you get up, with every intention to do what you do. It's great to listen to their words of encouragement, hear their stories of what they had to do, how they made it, whatever, whatever. But after you do that, you got to get up and you got to move, because those people have they have their money and their cars and their success, and be happy for them from a distance. But a lot of us, we have to get up and we have to go get ours, and that's just that is the cause. And we are definitely going to affect that thing this year. One big thing with me last year was, and the years prior, was the inconsistencies, and not not doing something over and over and over again, worrying about how it's going to happen instead of planning accordingly. I was listening to the comedian Dick Gregory, and rest in peace to Dick Gregory, man. He was saying that y- if you're thinking about, let's say, if you're thinking about going on vacation, let's say, we know wherever the Caribbean, Bahamas, the Maldives, I don't know, the Greek Isles, wherever it is you're thinking about going, and you're like, man, there's no way in the world I could get, you're already, like he said, you already told like a trillion cells in your body that it's not going to happen, because you're already over, overthinking it, because you're thinking about the now, and you're focused on, maybe what you don't have and what you have going on in that moment. And you never know, based on the steps that you're taking now, what your life is going to look like, by the summertime, or by April, or by March, So we have to get out of our, we have to get out of our heads, and we got to get out of our own way. So I'm talking to myself too, as I say these things. And besides people, or besides the wrong people being in your life or in your corner, whatever, we could be, honestly, sometimes, we can honestly be our greatest downfall. And and for me, that speaks volumes. I mean, yes, I've accomplished some things, in my life, and I'm proud of that. But there's a whole lot more that I want to do, and there's a whole lot more that I have left to do. And if I don't, I can look at everybody else in the world and say, "Oh, what are you doing for this, and what are you doing for that?" This year I don't have time for that. I only have, for the now, I only have time to hold me accountable. Because I have to get up, I have to push, I gotta go. If I want to get myself in some kind of reasonable shape with exercise, I have to get up. I like to work out in the morning, so I have to get up early, get it done, because I know as the day drags on, I'm not gonna feel like doing it, and it probably, and it probably, it probably won't get done. So, but that's just me. In a sense, I'm an early morning person when it comes to some things, and that is just what that is. So nourish yourself, man, with that life, with that new vibe, with that new course that you're on. And speaking of course, man, well, hold on, we have a guest. We have a guest. Oh, hey, it's Maccabee. And he's up 231, and here we go. Hey, good morning, sir.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I am above ground, vertical, blessed, and I'm crazed right now with the show. It's insane. With my podcast, excuse me, just to be more clarifying, I should say.
Okay, that's great, man.
It's because I'm still somewhat new to it. I should say just new to it in general. I'm just trying to. I've said this before, and I'll say it time and time again. We have to be careful what we ask God for. And when we do, we need to be very specific with it, because when we get it, we have to make sure that when we ask for it, that we prepare ourselves when we receive it. Because it is one of those things like. It's really hard sometimes to think about how the creator of everything from nothing has decided to bless me with this, and try to get over that, but still realize that the promise has already been there. He's probably promised he was going to do it anyway. So I just have to run with it and work with it. And that's one of those things, like, when you said get up and go get it, that's literally what I'm doing, getting up and getting.
Right. And just like you said, I have to, I have to, just like you're doing your podcast now. If you just decide, well, I'm just going to sit around for 4 weeks and I'm not going to do anything, the podcast wouldn't get done. So it's naturally up to you, and it's naturally up to me to go. Whatever your goals are, or that, like, that podcast is, in a sense, is your baby, and you have to nurture it. So like the book that I'm working on, that's my baby. So I have to nurture it and give it everything that I can so that it can grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that it's not going to be perfect at the beginning. In fact, it's not. I'm on par for some type of technical issue to come up every time for the first two. So hopefully, I won't be on this next one, but I am getting better at it. And the fact is that each time that I'm doing it, I'm figuring out something to add to it or to fix, because I'm asking the question to my guest, hey, what did you like? What didn't you like? Was there something I need to improve on? Is there something that I need to keep? Just to make sure that I'm making sure that the opportunity that's given me is not wasted, and that I'm doing the best of my ability to use it properly for the authors, because the authors are the heroes of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just merely there to ask the questions and to get learn from them, because how everybody's story is so different. That's what intrigues me. That's why I was happy when this happened to me, that I got to now talk to authors and learn what the story was behind the story. I want to know what inspired you to write your book. I want to know who inspired you. Is there a certain event? What's your journey like? What's your story like? Why did you, stick with this specific topic or this specific narrative? And to me, that was, my way of putting them out there so that they can get that connection with an audience, that the audience that they're going to get, not just now, but later on, is something that's going to continue to grow, because they're going to have that connection with their author, and get a personal connection with that book, because I know that when I feel like I have a personal connection with somebody, even if I've never met them before, I feel like it's easier for me to, if they do have like merchandise, or if they have a new video out, or they have a new project that's going on, I'm more likely to go after it and say, hey, that merch is really cool. I really like that because I want to support them. Or, hey, that project, when is that date? Because I want to see it, or I want to read it, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think a lot of people now want to. The pandemic has given us that feeling again, that renaissance of wanting to know more about people, because we missed it for so long. We were unable to touch each other. We were unable to express something to people unless it was virtual, and we missed that personal touch with anything, and that's something I think God really wants us to. That's why part of His ideas, and again, I'm not saying what God's thinking. I'm just opinionating my thoughts on it. It's like we've lost that touch with each other, that personal social interaction. So when it was taken away from us, and now that we're in that resurrection time frame, that rebuilding time frame of our society, of our lives. It's that idea that we want to know more. We want to know the behind the scenes because we want to have that personal feeling with whoever we're trying to support.
Yeah, and a few takeaways from what you said. Like with your podcast, not you're not only are you the creator of it, but you're also the host, and within
Yeah.
that you're learning different stories. And so when you start like going out, venturing out, being a guest on other people's podcasts, you can relate these stories that naturally that you're hearing. And also you can take these stories and go to like different, take you can take those stories and go to like bigger stages, bigger venues. But it's like you
Yeah.
already, so it gets you geared up in so many different ways than you may not actually be perceiving. Not just you, but a lot of us in everything that we're doing.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that I really love about it is that I'm learning something new. Instead of, watching YouTube University to figure something out, I'm actually going to a specific person who has, firsthand uh, experience with it or the knowledge of it. And if they're, creating something that's fictional, I'm still learning how to create a narrative for a story because I love writing stories. I love to create characters and the background stories for them. That's how I create voices. But for me, it's always a learning phase because everybody's story is different and everybody has something, and we can learn from everybody.
Yes, we can. And that's a part of the and that's a part of the growth process. It's not going to happen. People will say, there's no overnight success. So let's just throw that out the window. But success comes to those who endure and run the race. You look at certain people, and you're like, well, all right, let's just say if you have a podcast, you want a certain guest to come on, and you're like, let's say it's a big name, and you're like, huh? Let's say it's a big name, and you say like, man, that person will never, and if you want to come back up, you are more than welcome to. It's a big name, and you're like, man, that person has never blah 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 blah. So almost like you've already talked yourself out of it. So before you do that, just send the email, or reach out on Instagram, before you even talk yourself. That's how you psych yourself out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is one of those things that you're never, no one is out of reach. No one is out of reach.
Cause hold on. Yeah, I'll agree to that. I've had some, I've had some influential people, on my podcast in 2020 and 2021. What I shot myself in the foot was I didn't keep it going. Like I stopped my momentum. I shouldn't have done that, but I can get it back going again. So
Right. And it is that idea that, like I said, when God's involved, you never know what you're going to get. You may feel like the person who is considered a celebrity, maybe A, B, C, or D, it doesn't matter. They're considered a celebrity in some way, shape, or form. We have to understand and remember that these are just regular people. The only reason why they're considered a celebrity is just because of the fact that we've put them there. Man has put them up on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. But in God's eyes, they're no more important than we are. And when we get that, yes, don't get me wrong, it can do something for our popularity, for the shows and stuff like that. But it's not meaning that it's going to uh, make a huge. We're not going to learn anything else from that person that we couldn't learn from someone else who's went through the same situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have, at some point, I get a really well-known author on my show, then great. I can still learn the exact same thing in a similar way than I would with someone brand spanking new to the show that's never been seen before. I'm going to ask them the same style of questions. It'll be specific to them, but the same. I always do the five flash style, lightning round style questions, because I want people to get to know them on a personal level, and that way they can inspire them.
Yeah, I agree to that. I think that like if you had somebody, let's say, who was well known or wasn't well known, I want to know more about their process, how they think, how they move. They don't have to tell everything,
Right.
but just naturally would naturally would gives them that kind of to go ahead and
Right.
get it done to what makes them go for their goals.
Yeah, exactly. Because sorry, I had a call come in. That's
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, but it's always fun to do that, to talk to people, to get that next generation of readers to them, get that next generation of writers, so that so that we can continue to have storytellers in the world. Because as much as written stories have been around since books in the between the second and fifth century BC, oral stories have been around since the dawn of time. So storytelling is never going to go away. It's what helps us to learn, helps us to be entertained, helps to inspire us, to move us, to get us going, to fill us with such hope and joy for whatever we're doing, what we want to do. And when we can honestly and truly have a personal connection to someone else who's gone through that, no matter if they are, Mother Teresa or Joe Smo off the street, it's still a connection of saying, hey, yes, this person is the reason why I'm doing this. They inspired me with their story, and now I'm doing it, and I hopefully can inspire the next generation, someone else to do it, to make a change in their life.
And that's a beautiful thing with the times that we're living in now. Like if you have an idea, like for a podcast or for a YouTube channel, all you really need is like a cell phone, maybe some good lighting, your voice, or laptop and the internet. You could go. It's not like back in the whenever and whenever when technology wasn't as good. So you can do everything you need to do from home.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do. That's what as a voice actor, that's what I do. In fact, I have because of this, I was talking to a partner of mine, because I've created a host beneficiary relationship with another company, and I was telling them, like, hey, with your guys' product, Text for More, which is basically an individual landing page through texting, would be great for authors to see that, to be able to look at it and go, hey, this would be great for my book. They can see not only my picture, but also the illustration of my book, and hear the first couple sentences, maybe a minute or two of the book, and then get in contact with me, or go to my website, or go to wherever I'm putting the book at, so they can get it, or if they've got an audiobook, where they can go to get it from whatever platform it may be that they're on. And they were looking at like, this is a great idea. We've been wanting to figure out how we could do this for authors, but now you've given us a really good platform to do it, and a good idea on how to do it. And this is another way of showing something to publishers, so that they can see how it can help they give another tool for their marketing teams, or their authors, to market themselves to other people. Like, I'll give mine out for my show, or for my business right now. If anybody's listening now or later on, if you go text, if you put this number in and text it, text the word voice to it, VOICE. The number is 812-220-3660. And again, text the word voice. It's not case sensitive, VOICE. If you send it, you'll receive a text back, a response text with a link in it, and saying, thank you for your interest in Matt Griffin VO. And if you're interested in booking, here, click this link. And what it'll have is, it has a little introduction video. It has a little bio about myself. It has three samples of work I've done, either a demo or just samples of my work, and then my contact information. So they have my phone number, they have my website, and they can book a time on my calendar. And it's just a way for me to actually, if I don't have a business card on me, if I happen to either run out or I forget, I can always give that to them, because everybody has their phone on. And it's a way for me to get my name out there for people to see. And they can actually still have all my contact information right then and there in their book and their phone. So it's a way of, like I said, getting the word out there for yourself, and to improve on getting people to find you. And the only way you can do that is by getting up and getting it done. By finding, whatever you're doing. If it means getting up and improving yourself by reading a book, going to the gym, making friends, or if you're in a business, finding a business that you can work with, so that you can benefit, both of you can benefit from anything. Anyways, I gotta get going. Sorry I talked too much.
Oh, it's okay. Always a pleasure. Mr. Maccabee, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, please hit him up, so y'all could go check out his podcast, Being a Show, if you're an author, man, so that you can, so y'all can work together, get your name out there. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, you get ready. Superman, ladies and gentlemen, is in the building. Yeah, you're not gonna believe it. I'm actually wearing I'm live streaming from YouTube, but I'm actually wearing my Superman t-shirt. Yeah, man. The last sons of Krypton.
Yes, man. I gotta give it going. What's up?
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm I'm good. I'm good. So today, we're talking about so today we're talking about getting up and go get it. So are there any words of wisdom that you can give to the people as far as 'cause I know that you're a go getter. I know that you have a lot of let's say irons in the fire, so to speak. So like what initially made you wanna like become an author and a speaker and get into the fragrance industry and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, man. It definitely took. Okay, so I worked in retail for a long time, and the inspiration to go in my own direction came from a few places. But um, I worked in retail for a long time, and on the side, I started blogging. Right, so I just started just sharing my experiences and sharing how I felt about things um, that I wasn't comfortable with, and I just wanted an outlet. And I had a friend 5 6 years ago that put the bug in my ear that I should write a book because she saw one of my blogs. Um, and by this time, I had already had 30 written because I was doing it every night outside of my job. And she caught glimpses. She caught a glimpse of I think maybe one or two of my blogs. One of them was about getting people to understand Capricorns a little bit better, and another one was about what was it? Accepting yourself. Um, and she noticed that she noticed I had a talent for writing, and she was like, "Yo, man, I think you should get into book writing. I think like you should write a book." And it's funny. It's funny, and we laugh about it now because initially. Um, she had approached me about writing books, and I had approached her about doing music. And we laugh about it now because we've in essence flipped. So she is a music promoter for up and coming artists, and I went the author route. And so um, that was one instance where I just wanted to be expressive, and I didn't want to feel like I had to wait for somebody else to give me the okay to be expressive. And once I tapped into that part of myself, and I got a taste of it through books and blogging and things like that, it was kind of off to the races from there. You know what I mean? Like all it took was a small taste of freedom. That's all it took for me to kind of say, you know what? Okay, so I could write a book basically on anything, and I could allow my mind to be free and to go wherever my mind wants to go. Um, as long as my thoughts, things like that make sense, I can go wherever I want to go, in essence. And once I got a taste of that, in particular with book writing and blogging, it was kind of off to the races from there. And then that's how I got into podcasting because I was like, yo, like I love just being expressive. I love not having to, I guess, run it by anybody, right? And so I used my book experience because I loved it so much, and I used that um, to also become a podcaster. And I was like, yo, I wonder what else I could do. And so that's where the perfume thing kind of came in at the end, which is now how I've built a brand around it, actually. And my IG is my IG now is, and it's been like this for a while, is Kyle's Enterprises. Because after a while, I didn't want to be limited to just books. I wanted to kind of see what else I could come up with, And so, even though books is always going to be there, that's part of my foundation. Although I may take a break, of course, I may, take a step back and focus on other things. But books is part of my foundation. So, and that's what I love about it. I love that at any moment I can decide, you know what, I feel like another book is in me somewhere, and I can write one. Like I'm not limited by um, a number, not anymore. Although when I first started out, I did say that I wanted to get to a certain number of books, and then I'll move on. But yeah, I'm not limiting myself with a number. So as long as I can come up with them, I'll probably keep dishing them out. And yeah, that's how I got here, man. That's just quick summary, but that's how I got here. That's pretty much how I got here. A friend kind of put the bug in my ear, and I was open to it when they did. And then I just took that and made a fucking tree. And that's kind of how I feel about the stuff I'm doing. Kind of took a mustard seed and made a tree. So yeah, that's how I got here.
I love that, man. Taking a, you know, hear that, ladies and gentlemen, taking a mustard seed and making it into a tree. Seriously, and that tree that tree branches out because it's connected to the earth, and you know, once it's done that, then you know you have a whole forest, you know, at your disposal, and like David was saying, don't just limit yourself. Even, like you said, you started out as a writer, but even with that, you've already, even though like the thoughts or the voice was in your head, you already had a voice, so all you had to do was start blogging, and then from that, you started your podcast.
Yeah, yeah, because I knew that because books for me wasn't just me just wanting to make money, right? And that's one of the things that I tell people, man, when people ask me about um, the book writing process in particular. For me, it was redemption. It was redemption from, because I had jobs that didn't work out that I thought would work out. I had jobs that other people had suggested that I do, and for whatever reason, that just didn't work out. And so I was like, yo, how can I redeem myself? And I didn't want to be looked at as a person that could start things but not finish them. Like, that was a big thing with me. And I think even one of my family members got on me about it. She was like, I don't care what you do, just start something and finish. Like, just, I don't care what it is. And I was like, all right. And then that's when I sat with myself and I came up with books. And that's one of the areas that I've been in ever since. But yeah, redemption was a big thing with me. I wanted to, not to prove it to nobody else, but to prove it to myself that, can I block out the noise of other people? Can I block out the people telling me, no, you should do this. No, you should do that. You should go this way. No, you should go that way. Okay, let me be present and just focus. And books happen to be the thing that allowed me to do that. So books was not just me wanting to be expressive, but also redemption. Like, it was like, all right, like, you can do that if it's something that you really want to do. So redemption was a big part of my beginning process too.
Yeah. So one thing, you remind me so much of myself because you're naturally a pure writer, and you're a creative, and you can, a lot of people are, everybody has a story. Somebody might just put out one book, but like me, you could put out like multiple books because you can write across different genres, and that's that can lead to like scripts and plays, and and all of that other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I tell people that I've purposely put myself on punishment when it comes to television because that's how my brain works. If I watch something on TV that sounds like a good idea for a good book, good fragrance name, or a good podcast, or whatever, however it shows up, then that becomes an idea. That becomes a new book. That becomes something else for me to sink my feet into. And I legit don't watch TV on purpose because of that. Like, because I know how my brain works, and my brain is it's just a sponge, man. So a lot of times, I don't watch TV strictly for that. So I tell people, I put myself on punishment because my brain just works like, and it just soaks in all the any type of
What did he? Oh, okay, yeah, he's coming back. I think the time just ran out. Yeah, man, it's the grind of it, but it's well worth it, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to finish my thought, yeah, that's why I put myself on punishment. I'm officially grounding myself because the way that my brain works, I just soak up whatever's on television. So I legit don't watch TV on purpose.
You have you done like the comic books or anything like that? And have you ever thought about doing one? Since you're probably in a Superman and maybe DC Comics and all of that good stuff.
No, man, I haven't done a comic book per se, but I did write a book on how I view people, and at this point, like we're talking about comic books, I view people as superheroes. That's kind of how I view people now.
Hmm.
When I saw the correlation between comic books and creative people or entrepreneurs or whatever you call it, and how everybody identifies with a different hero, right? So, which allows us all to coexist with each other, like totally fine. Um, and once I started looking at people in that sense, I wrote a book about it called Hybrid, being superhuman among people. And basically, I went into not only my inspiration from comic books and who I relate to, but how I've been able to compare other people to that. So if somebody, because I have a friend that um, reminds me a lot of Wolverine because she heals fast. She heals fast from injuries and things like that. So that became her nickname for me, Wolverine. Right? I have somebody that's sneaky, not sneaky, but they don't tell you what they're gonna do, and then they just pop up on you. Like, yo, here's what I've been doing. Here's what I've been working on. That's something Batman. Real shit. That's something Batman would do.
Right.
Right. So once I started finding little things like that I see like in my friends and people that I come across, it gave me the inspiration to write a book about it. So I wrote a book based on my interactions with people and how everybody is kind of their own hero in a sense, and how we can coexist together totally fine.
Yeah, I think if I was to relate myself to any comic book hero, probably would be Doctor Strange, only because of I'm very deep into spirituality and all of that good stuff. And I know there was another guy in DC Comics. I forgot his name. He's Fate. I think Dr. Fate. There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think those would be like the two main guys I would at this point I would you know, you know, like put myself up to, like if I had to, be like a superhero in a sense.
Yeah, I can see that, man. I can see that. And that, you know what, that actually has turned into because I'm in the podcasting space of, um, and that's actually turned into a series. I've made it a series called Superman Meets, where I invite people on that tell me who their favorite person happens to be, and we just kind of compare notes on how we've connected, and it's not an interview, it's more of a conversation. But again, that was also kind of going along the lines of like what we're talking about in terms of everybody kind of being their own hero, and how Superman interacts with Dr. Fate, Superman interacts with Batman, and all of these guys, even though Superman can hold his own and Batman can hold his own and everybody can hold their own, we still interact with each other at some point. So we know of each other, even though everybody's doing something different. And once I started looking at it like that, it made it more fun, honestly. It made the journey a lot more fun, because I find that us as entrepreneurs and creatives, we tend to focus on the grind a lot. We tend to focus on the grind a lot, and it's not all about the grind. I feel like you got to find ways to have fun while you're grinding and in the process of it. But I find that a lot of people tend to focus on the grind a lot, and they forget that there is fun in there somewhere. You may have to put it on the back burner sometimes, but there's fun in there somewhere. Like, it's not all just grinding and working, just grinding and working. And so once I started incorporating the superhero aspect of it, it made it more fun.
And the fun part is that you're doing something that you're really great at doing. You're passionate about it and you love it. So that's where, unlike the 9 to 5 grind. You're working, you have the security of the check, but you're probably dying inside because you're doing something and you're thinking about doing something else. That's the that's the flip side of it.
Yeah, I've been there, man. I don't miss them days. Yeah, look, man, look, even other people were like, "Yo, you should go back to work. You should go back and do this, do that." Nah, I'm not doing that. Like, nah, I'm not doing it. Man, I found my lane. I'm staying in my lane. That's that. Books and being creative. That's my lane. So that's where I stay. But people have said, "Yo, you should go back to work." Nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we're in times where a lot of people are leaving their jobs, daily, and not just in America, but in Canada, and a lot of other places in the world. People are just tired and fed up, and they want to follow their passions and they want to be happy.
Yeah, yeah. I heard some of your comments in the last person that was up before me. I do agree that this is like the perfect time to kind of just do your own thing because it's easy. Well, not easy, but it's a lot simpler than it used to be because everything is like literally on your phone. Like a lot of even like my podcast is done from my phone. Like I could buy a professional mic if I wanted to, but just the option of it. I think that just the option of it is like really dope. So I think that this is, like you said, the perfect time to kind of figure out what you want to be good at outside of your 9 to 5 job or whatever, and just go for it. Just going for it.
Right. And when I think what a lot of people don't get initially is that everything that you have to start initially, you've already got it. If it's an idea, you have the skill. Maybe you have a setup. You just do a little research, and you just do a little research, and you get it going. And by you doing that, I'm telling you, people are going to start to and they're going to start to hear about it, and they're going to start to look for you. But speaking of hearing, yeah, I would love to come on your podcast, man. I love that the podcast that you have with like talking to Superman. That is amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Like we're talking about, that came to me legit because I didn't give myself the nickname Superman. I wrote it down on paper once or twice, and then people just resonated with that and they gave it to me. So, in essence, like the whole Superman thing for myself, is literally a product of the people, right? Because I wrote it down on paper, but at some point, but those people that gave it the momentum that it has, those people that gave it energy, those people that said, "Yo, you know what? Superman just fits you," because I do quite a bit, and all of that stuff, but Superman just fits you. And it was somebody that brought it to my attention. So I'm just giving people what they've poured into me. I'm just giving it back. And so that's where the whole Superman meets thing kind of came about. It was people giving me the nickname of Superman. And I like the character, so I didn't complain. I liked the character. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to be my own version of the character. So in essence, that's all I'm doing. I'm just being my own version of it. And I'm glad it resonates. I really am. I'm just glad that it resonates with people, man. So I'm just grateful for it.
Yeah, and there is a version of Superman that looks just like you. I think his name was Val Zod from Earth 2, I believe. Yeah, so I just recently heard, watched I forgot the name of the story, but yeah, but man, it's amazing how it all comes together, though. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely hit you up on Instagram, and if you would have me, I'm not trying to bully my way on your platform. But yeah, but thank you for coming up, though.
Yeah, I know we were trying to do it yesterday, but technical difficulties.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. He definitely was trying. we tried yesterday, man, but he he came up and something happened, and I think he tried to come up again, and something happened, and but yeah, man, but see, those are people who are going to get it, man, and I implore you guys to to go in and just to go and make it happen, like he was saying, and I have to agree with. I've resonated totally when people were saying, just do something and stick with it, but for me, it's the man, it's the there's so it's like people have told me I'm the face of the brand, so I am the soul of a man brand, and it's in well, within I mean I have one or two people that help me here and there, but initially I'm the face of the brand, like I am the talent on the soul of a man 504. So like I write all of my books, and I do my own podcast. I come on here. I have to send out all of my emails. So so it's like what did they say? A jack of all trades, master of none, something like that, man. So you do have to be a jack of all trades initially when you're when you're first starting out. But what one interesting thing is, like when I wrote my first book, and even up to the last one, it allows you to not only be on other people's platforms and things like that, but it lets you be behind the scenes. It lets you talk to them, and it helps you to grow. It gets you on the radio, and haven't been on the news yet, but that's coming very soon. So the important thing is that um you go get it and you grow with it. That, like he said, you plant the you plant the mustard seed and have it grow. I'm gonna remix it a little bit. You plant the mustard seed and have it grow into its own ecosystem, and that's the and first into a tree, and then into everything else that it's naturally going to bloom into. But believe you me, it is going to bloom. And you're going to start to see, this is going to be an interesting year, because you're going to start to see faster results because you were diligent and everything, and the promise that you were given, and the gifts that you were given from from up above, from the most high, or whoever it is that you rock with. A lot of new age people like to say the universe, whatever grabs you. But the important thing is that you get up and you go get it, man, and you make it happen. So I'm going to say goodbye to my amazing folks over here on YouTube.